quick reminder of what finals pressure can be like?
It's a final. A lot of pressure in finals. So it was if you win, there's no percentage, there's no nothing. It's just have a W next to your name and you move forward. And that was the single goal, and that's what we got.
The opening 15 minutes, their size up forward looked like it could be a real problem. How concerned were you without Reid down there?
Well, he's been chosen in the 40s, so one would suspect he's had a fair year. I personally reckon it was probably one of our gutsiest performances since I've been at the football club, and I say that on the back of 6 backline players. One of them's been relatively free of injury, then the others have either had an injury, been suspended, carrying an injury. That's 5, and there's no Reid. So and they've kicked 9 goals. So I reckon it's an outstanding performance by those players. And the way we started off, I thought we were very scratchy. I thought we played football that was more trying to defend something we don't need to defend. And another criticism, I thought we overused the football. I thought we didn't make the most of opportunities in our forward line. So there's a lot of things that we didn't do well, but good enough to get over the line.
Michael, 20 less hit-outs, but you've won the clearances by something like 20. It's a pretty good performance from your midfielders there, isn't it?
Yeah, they are very, very good at stoppage work, and we knew that we wouldn't be in the plus as far as the hit-outs go. That's just common sense, and taking, not discrediting any of our players who will go through the middle as far as ruckman goes, but it's simply we needed a contest. We got the contest. The middle clearance rate was 9 to 10. That probably is the most exposed area on the ground that you'll be. Other than that, you can get numbers everywhere. And when you consider 9 to 10, and I don't know how many they scored out of the centre, they may have scored 1, and they're the best side in the competition at scoring out of the centre break. So I thought Jolly, Lee Brown to a lesser degree, wasn't in there as often, were very highly competitive, gave us a chance to get, as it turned out, 9 to 10 evenness through the centre square stuff, and we won quite convincingly when you look at these figures, throwing in ball ups, which is a credit to the boys around the ground, around the stoppage.
Mick, did you expect that you would get that much out of Heath Shaw, given the amount of time you'd had out of the game?
Well, I was worried. It's easy to be. I guess the criticism. If we had have lost that game, people said, "Well, why wouldn't you bring your interchange, your sub player on earlier?" We just, when you're in a position to win, which we were for halfway through the second quarter, we were in front, so we were in a position to win the game. Nothing conclusive, but we're in a position to win. The longer the game went on, the more fearful that you become when you have players like Heath Shaw, 8 weeks, Nick Maxwell 4, and he couldn't run for 2 or thereabouts because of the pain of his operation. We had a couple of blokes go in with injuries who were able to get through matches, but we didn't know how far they can get through the match. Lost Reid. So the sub, could have been Simon Buckley, could have been young Ben Sinclair, could have been Cameron Wood, but we went for Fasolo and we kept that vacant, that position, because of the unpredictability of making a 3/4 time call, which everyone expects you to, and then find someone cramps up and we lose a backline player. So to answer the question, it's an outstanding performance by David Butterfin and Heath Shaw, on top of Maxwell and Tuvey and Tarrant, who left the ground last week. Can't remember who else was down there. Just trying to think. I said Tarrant, Heath Shaw, we've mentioned, Maxwell. And so the back line itself, any one of those could have faulted, and we just needed coverage. So that's why we elected to stay as long as we could without activating our sub, but more importantly, just keep an eye on the backup, and I thought they were terrific.
How is Tarrant? Is he going to need every bit of the fortnight with the hamstring?
Quite frankly, I reckon every one of them will. I reckon every one of those backline players will be now. Second up now doesn't become an issue. Second up becomes a training run Saturday morning. Vigorous that they will be, just again to get a bit of the soreness out of blokes that have not played for some weeks, and those that have come off injury. So it's been a gamble that we've taken. I was prepared to take it, knowing that we'd get Thomas back next week, and we've got a couple of young, as I said, Sinclair and Simon Buckley are players that have played a fair bit of football this year. So we took the gamble that we could scramble over the line and get these players another week's rest.
How confident are you about Reid being right for the prelim too, Mick?
I'm not too sure.
Was fatigue the main factor, you think, in your team when they made that charge at you in that last quarter?
I thought they did very well. I thought they read the play pretty well. They could see. We thought a couple of their blokes were struggling, and I reckon that they could see. Whether they could see it or not, I didn't sense it. I thought we were okay at three-quarter time, but the body has a 6-minute break, and the way back is to work out structurally who they can expose. And I thought by going the way they did in that last quarter, they started to push a little bit further through the middle, a little bit further into our back half, and they scored 3 goals, I think it was, but they got them relatively quickly. And but I suppose the good thing about that, the boys still stood tall when they had to, and there was a late mark. I can't remember who took the mark, but it was a good saving mark, which then we're able to settle and press and go forward. But no, they should have. They should be also credited with a wonderful game, West Coast, and where they've come from and what they've been able to achieve has been terrific. But it's one of the bonuses, I suppose, to finish above the side in the finals, that you have a game played out here, not at Subiaco.
How significant was Leon Davis's game and his ability to move the ball fairly cleanly off half back?
Yeah. Well, he's experienced a heap of variances, if you like, in the last 6 weeks. His worth has been noted. They play him close to goal, they play him up the ground, they play him on tools, they load their forward line with 6'2" blokes, they have quick blokes. So, and as I said to Leon, if he's going to succeed in that role, he's got to be able to principally be able to play on a multitude of players for a start off, and secondly, at any level, in other words, back, mid or high back, to, I suppose, get the credentials over the line that he's a genuine bona fide backline player, and he hasn't let anyone down.
People have jumped to hail Geelong as the new flag favourite. Are you happy with where you're at?
Oh, we know we can get better. I don't think anyone's totally satisfied where anyone is, really, if you sit back and be satisfied. If it's judged on today's game, so be it. You only win the game, you go into a preliminary final.